During a maintenance task, an incident occurs while a worker is attempting to lift a manhole cover. What initially appears to be a routine operation turns dangerous when the worker loses balance while handling the cover. As the opening is left unprotected, the worker falls into the manhole. People nearby notice the situation and rush to assist. The incident is reported to have resulted in injury. Manhole covers should be opened using proper equipment and correct lifting techniques. Open voids must be clearly secured and protected. Such tasks should not be performed alone, and appropriate personal protective equipment must always be used. In the early hours of Saturday morning, a serious explosion takes place at a gas station in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. A CNG-powered vehicle is present during refueling when a violent explosion occurs in the compartment containing the compressed natural gas cylinder. The force of the blast throws the vehicle several meters and causes structural damage to part of the station. A 64-year-old driver standing near the rear of the vehicle is severely affected. The driver loses his life, and a station employee is reported to be seriously injured. CNG vehicles must undergo regular inspections at authorized service centers. During refueling, safety procedures must be strictly followed. The engine should be turned off, and any spark-producing activities must be avoided. A brief moment of inattention leads to an unexpected hazard. On a gently sloped path, a grandmother is walking with her grandchild in a stroller and turns away for a short moment. The stroller, not firmly secured, begins to roll downhill on its own. A nearby dog appears to notice the movement, but does not react. Before the grandmother can intervene, the stroller rolls into a small pond at the end of the path. Bystanders quickly respond and remove the baby from the water, and the child is reported to be in good condition. On sloped surfaces, strollers must always be firmly held, and wheel locks should be engaged whenever stopping. A stroller should never be left unattended. At a processing facility involving pressurized systems, an incident occurs near a mixing line. A worker pauses near the third tank shortly after passing by the production area. When internal pressure exceeds permitted levels, the drum suddenly releases pressure. Dense vapor and paint mixture disperse uncontrollably into the environment. Nearby workers quickly evacuate the area. The worker is reported to have been injured. No one should stand near pressurized vessels without verifying isolation and pressure release status. If unusual sounds or leaks are detected, operations must be stopped immediately. During assembly work on a temporary elevated platform at a manufacturing site, a serious fall incident occurs. While workers are aligning steel structures and equipment, a minor loss of balance takes place. In an area lacking a verified anchor point and full fall protection system, one worker loses balance and falls from the platform. Nearby teams immediately respond. The incident is reported to have resulted in injury. Work at height must not be carried out without anchored safety harnesses and guardrails. Temporary platforms must be inspected before use. An incorrect assessment during tree cutting leads to a hazardous situation. A man cutting the top of a tall and flexible palm tree with a chainsaw miscalculates the movement that will follow. After the upper section is cut, the remaining trunk suddenly swings backward. The worker loses balance and faces a dangerous moment. The incident is reported to have resulted in injury. During tree cutting operations, safety harnesses and ropes should be used. The behavior and tension of the tree must be evaluated before cutting begins. While preparing a wood pile in an open area, a man uses gasoline to ignite the fire more quickly. He pours gasoline from a container onto the base of the pile. Gasoline vapors mix with the air, creating an invisible hazard. As he approaches with a flame, sudden ignition occurs, causing brief panic in the surrounding area. Injuries are reported in this incident. Flammable liquids such as gasoline should never be used to start or accelerate fires. Safer ignition methods must be preferred. Flammable substances should be handled carefully, even in open spaces. During Yunza celebrations in Ancon, Peru, a serious accident occurs. A large decorated tree is being raised when it comes into contact with nearby high-voltage power lines. Individuals assisting fail to recognize the dangerous proximity to energized lines. Following contact, the tree catches fire, and several people are severely affected. The incident is recorded by bystanders. One person loses their life, and 4 others are reported injured. Work must never be conducted near energized power lines without proper authorization and risk assessment. All lifting operations should be carefully planned in advance. Coordination with relevant authorities is essential in areas close to electrical infrastructure. On a factory production line, a female worker briefly steps away from her station to reach for a bottle placed at the edge of a table. Nearby, an unguarded standing fan is operating. As she reaches for the bottle, the exposed rotating blades catch a loose strand of her hair. Co-workers quickly notice the situation, stop the line, and intervene. The worker is reported to have been injured. Hair must always be secured when working near rotating equipment. Machinery without protective guards should not be operated. Even simple equipment can pose serious risks. At a repair workshop, a potential explosion hazard emerges during preparation work. In the bed of a pickup truck parked against a wall sits a large metal container previously used for fuel transfer. A welder prepares to perform a connection repair nearby. The possibility of remaining fuel vapors inside the container goes unnoticed. When the torch is activated, a sudden hissing sound and pressure buildup are observed near the container. The welder quickly retreats, and surrounding workers evacuate the area. No injuries are reported in this incident. Welding or cutting operations must never be performed near containers that have not been verified as gas-free. Such equipment must be thoroughly cleaned and tested before any hot work is conducted.